All aboard Gabby Airways, and we are looking for another successful flight, hopefully into what would be her second ever 500 semi final if she is successful today. And of course, the first 500 semi final came earlier this year in April, I believe. So it really is a testament to how well she's doing on all surfaces. So make no bones about it, however, this is a very, very tough match. She did run into a little bit of luck with Iga Swiatek being knocked out by Emma Navarro, but Emma Navarro is certainly a tough opponent, and she does have the 3-0 head-to-head over Gabby. So that will potentially play a part. However, you could argue that Gabby faced Elisa Mertens in Hertogenbosch very recently. That was also a very one-sided head-to-head where she'd never beaten her before, and all of the previous meetings had been fairly one-sided. But Gabby was able to turn that one on its head, and I think the way she's playing this week, and with that fresh in her mind, that will play an enormous factor too. And it's going to be hopefully a very, very exciting game. And we will try our very best to take you through it as best we can. You'll need to watch it on your local broadcasters. I imagine in Romania it's Digisports usually. But we do have the match in front of us. We're not going to show it for broadcasting reasons, but we also have all of the stats in front of us too. We are set up. We've got coffee. We've got water. We've got a rough plan of what we're going to talk about throughout the show. And we are going to enjoy this match together. And together, we're hopefully going to get Gabby through to another super, super win. And she really was outstanding in the first couple of matches. And we're going to have to remind you again, it was free qualifying, just like her Toppenbosch last year when she got to the final there. That was also through qualifying. So, I mean, this in many ways, it's no different from a final of another tournament because she's already played 4 matches. So it's really, really incredible consistency on the grass, which is in itself amazing. Only a couple of years ago, Gabby would have been in Wimbledon qualifying. She's now got the luxury of. She did dip out of the top 100 recently, but she'll be well back in it next week when the official rankings are released. But now she's got the luxury of playing more and more grass tournaments in the build up to Wimbledon, and she's proved certainly last year and definitely this year that she is a force to be reckoned with on grass, and it's very, very exciting. And I do remember, I think it was, I get my years right, 2020 I think, when Gabby played Elena Rybakina at Wimbledon. I was there with my friend, and yeah, that was a very unlucky first round draw. And hopefully, she's a bit more fortunate when the Wimbledon draw is released tomorrow. But she's definitely going to enjoy so much form going into this one. And I know it's a bit of a cliche, but whatever happens today, she's had another brilliant week, but you can't write her off the way she's playing. Normally, when you have a big win, I think I said this with her Toggenbosch recently. When you have a really big win like she did a couple of days ago, where she was so dominant in that first round match, it's usually the one after where there's even more pressure, and that she was playing Anna Kanesako in the second match as well, also a very big opponent. That's where you feel a little bit, but for her to back up what she had done, and again in straight sets, and I didn't see that one because I was travelling back from Eastbourne, but I was following the stats. I've obviously done a little bit of research. I've been reading views and opinions on it, and it sounded like it was a fairly sort of close first set, and then the second one she really she got pushed quite a lot. But I think that's the difference as Gabby walks onto the court right now. In a it looks a very, very hot day. I'll keep an eye out. It might have gone already, but I'll keep an eye out for what the temperature is. I may even have it on my computer. But yeah, she's come out onto the court now, all smiles, as we await for Emma Navarro to follow her, which she is doing now, and that is one blue sky up there in the German air, and we have, it looks like there or thereabouts, a full house, lots of seats filled for this one. This, of course, is the second quarterfinal of the day. Osaka winning earlier in the day, quite a straightforward straight sets win, meaning this one has been allowed to start on the scheduled time of I believe 3:30 local time. So the players have just walked onto the court. We will be keeping you up to date with all of the action. So even if you aren't in a position where you can watch Gabby's match along with us, hopefully we can do it a little bit of justice and let you know everything that's happening and all the excitement and all of the drama. And as with the other previous, is that right, PP? Doesn't make sense, does it? As with the previous, I just needed to say previous, didn't I? As with the previous watch parties, we will mix it up a little bit too. We'll have general chit chats. We've got a few things that we wanted to throw out there today. We've got Wimbledon very close, so we'll talk a little bit about Wimbledon. But moreover, relevant to Wimbledon is this insane heat wave that we are experiencing at the moment, and it is all over the south of England. I've just come back from Eastbourne yesterday. I actually said to my friend at breakfast about 9 in the morning, I'm glad to be going home because it was that hot. Just walking to the pub for breakfast at 9 in the morning, it was unbearably hot. And I couldn't bear the thought of sitting in those stands for another day as much as I love my tennis. But it was very, very hard work in Eastbourne. And that's just for a spectator. Imagine what the players were going through. Incredible, incredible. And Eastbourne, of course, isn't too far away from London, and we already have Sorana Castella and Jacqueline Christian both at Wimbledon at the moment, and it is hot in Wimbledon right now. It really is. It's hot all over the south of England. I'm over in Bristol, which is about 120 miles west of London. We have a red. I've got to be careful here. I'm not very good with R's and W's. Two words with R's and W's in, so do forgive me if I lisp a little bit. But we have a red. That's better. I'll roll it. We have a red weather warning in the UK for certain areas of the UK. Bristol is one of them where I live, and a red weather warning basically means it's a risk to life. And I'm fairly sure they've got that in London too. The heat is absolutely insane. It is the hottest June we've ever experienced, and it is crazy hot. Yeah, I do. I spare a thought. I mean, it looks hot over there in Bad Homburg, to be fair, but I do spare a thought for, especially. I know they're winding up today now, anyway. A lot of them probably would have finished, but I spare a thought for all of the players in the qualifying at Wimbledon today because that must be so hard work. And added that you're in the final round of qualifying for a major tournament, so the pressure mentally is going to be massive on top of that. So the fact that they've got to play in these temperatures is going to be, with all of that mental baggage, it's going to be so tough for them. So I spare a thought for them, and I spare a thought for all of the players at Wimbledon now who are, working very hard, doing their practicing, doing their routines and schedules, because the players that have got there early, like Sorana has and like Jacqueline has, it's not a free lunch. They're working. They've got busy schedules and busy days ahead of them. So they're out there training in this incredible heat. So we spare a thought for them because as much as we want them to do exceptionally well, and we'll talk about their prospects and their chances very, very soon. But yeah, we health is the most important thing. We want them to look after themselves and stay hydrated and all of those things that they know because they're professional athletes. But yeah, the heat wave in certainly in England at the moment is like nothing we've ever experienced before. I had a message from Adrian Krushan, Sorana's coach, as well, just saying that it's worse than July in Romania. So it really is. It's very, very hot at the moment here. So we do spare a thought for them, and we'll talk a little about heat and tennis throughout the course of this broadcast as well. I want to look at the big question that probably Daniel Medvedev usually asks: how hot is too hot, and what are the tournaments and the organisers doing across all the board, across the main tour, the ATP and WTA tour, and the ITF Challenger circuits? What are they doing to protect the players in these tournaments against these record temperatures that just seem to be increasing every single year? And what point do we have to look at the rules, and what point do do the heat rules come into play, which tournaments already have them, how they're enacted, and all of those things. So we'll look at that. And as always, looking for anyone's point of view, very, very welcome to give us an opinion on the topic of today. Here we go. I've got it actually. So humidity 36, temperature 37 degrees. That's 99 Fahrenheit. That's what we're playing in today. Forecast sunny. So it's 37 degrees. I wouldn't fancy playing in that. And Jack Draper in Eastbourne, wearing a black top. Crazy. I mean, I know he had the short sleeves on, so that helps. But my God, I couldn't wear a black top. Saying that, Gabby's in black as well. Gabby's wearing a black Adidas dress today, so she also isn't too bothered about black absorbent heat. But yeah, 37 degrees. The wind predictor, for whatever that's worth, has just popped up on the screen. So Gabby has been given, I think, quite generous 43%. You know, I mean, most people would make Emma Navarro the favourite in this match for a number of reasons. There's the ranking, there's the head-to-head, all of those factors. But I think a lot of respect has been shown to Gabby, particularly with her recent form on grass. So that's, again, I don't know who comes up with these WTA win predictors and how serious we should take them. But I actually think that's a very 43% Gabby to win is a very, very generous offering. So yeah, fair play for that, because I definitely feel she's got a chance. She's playing well enough. She's as Emma Navarro kicks us off. I believe that's an unreturned serve. I think 15 love to start with. But yeah, she's playing well enough, and it's the serving which I was going to come to as well, as Emma kicks things off in the first point there with a very strong unreturned serve. I think Gabby's serving, certainly in a match that I watched the other day in the first round, her serving has been really, really exceptional. And even yesterday when we were trolling through the stats, there was about 14 odd aces. But it's an area which she's really come on strong and worked quite hard by the second serve too. But she's holding really well this week, and I think that's helping her. And it's getting through those service games is always crucial. It frees you up, get through there as quickly as possible, go on the attack on the next one. And talking of attacking, Gabby's trying to get into this Navarro point right now, throwing a number of backhands at her. We're going cross court. So it's quite a long rally developing, and Gabby does get on the board with a driving backhand error from Navarro. That was a really nice long exchange early on. So we're 30-15 in the very first game, and Gabby has laid down the gauntlet there and just shown Emma that she wants to make it physical. So quite a good statement of intent early on in the very first game. And that serve from Emma Navarro has gone well long. She'll go for the second serve, serving at 30-15 under a little bit of pressure. Gabby's looking very hungry at the end of the net. End of the net, end of the court, baseline. Yeah, goes big on the second serve return, double-handed cross court, but does net it, unfortunately. So a little bit too keen, probably spurred on by the really strong point previously. But Emma now is safely at 40-15. Just hang on now to see if Gabby can get back on the board again, as she gets another second serve to look at. Again, Navarro's going to the tee, but she's going well long on that first attempt. Throws in a second serve to the body. Some great return from Gabby, hitting a really big forehand down the line. She tries to go backhand down the line on the other side of the court, but nets that one too. And a little bit of pressure from our Romanian, but Emma Navarro does hold comfortably to 15 in the end. And I've forgotten what I was talking about. I was talking about all sorts, wasn't I? Heat. We're going to be talking about heat a lot today. But yeah, so it's just come up that they are playing in 37 degrees. And of course, poor Gabby, she did have that heat stroke in the French Open, which was tragic to watch and very, very disappointing, given that she's having such an immense season this year as well. So she went to the French Open with very, very high expectations, and that early exit would have been very demoralising. So I think that just makes her little spell on the grass over the last few weeks even more impressive, because she's coming off the back of that disappointment in the French Open. and she doesn't seem to be too affected by these temperatures at the moment. We're seeing a typical Gabby Ruse, full of energy, bouncing around at the baseline. She's going to start her first service game now, and it's a good serve out wide. Good little 1-2 there. She opens up the court and goes big with a forehand down the line. Emma tries to get her on a pass and a returning shot, but goes well long. So Gabs is safely 15 love up nice and early. And this is going to be a big game because I said early on that she is serving extremely well this tournament. So crucial against a player of Emma Navarro's caliber that she keeps that up early on, because the first few games of this are going to be very important as Gabby tries to go out wide with the first serve. Hits the net on it. She's got a second, takes a little breath. Off we go again. Sticking with the wide, but that one goes long too, so it's a double fault, and we are 15-15. But I think that's okay, because like I said earlier, from the matches that I've seen so far, there have been a few double faults, but there've been a lot more aces. She really is going for it on the first and the second, but she's not taking too many risks. I did find, again, on the match that I didn't watch, the second one, I think the number of double faults increased a little bit more in the second set. I think there was a bit more pressure in the second set from what I understand about how the match panned out, but she was still able to see it through, and convincingly, which was always good news. But yeah, definitely on the first match, which I watched, I thought that the serving was excellent. And we are now... I'm confused now because I was absolutely adamant that was 15-15 just now, and the scoreboard is saying 30 love. That's what's happened when you move your head. I'm going to see if I've got my my live stats up to see if these things match, because it might be the broadcaster that's making the errors there. Give this a little bit of a refresh. But either way, it's 30-15 with Gabs serving. That matches up. Misses the first serve, goes to the tee, nets it. Just see how she gets on with this one. So serving at 30-15, second serve, a little bit of pressure. Goes out wide with this one, and a very, very good serve. Again, opening up the other side of the court, hits the forehand into the open space. Really good serve, second serve from Gabby, pushes her out wide onto Emma's backhand, who does get the return back, but she opens up the whole side of the deuce court, and Gabby has all the space in the world to hit into with a really clean forehand winner, and she's now at 40-15. And that is another super first serve from Gabby. She's gone wide with that one too on the other side, and we are now 1-1. So both players... No, something has happened. I didn't have the sound, so that might have been a let, I'm guessing. Or it may have even been a foul. You have to forgive me because I don't have the sound on this, so I thought that serve was good, but it's possible that may have been a let called. I think it was, yeah. She's going for the second serve now. So we got ahead of ourselves, PP. I know. So yeah, still at 40-15, a little bit of pressure. A ball's the first ball toss. But as we said earlier, it's a very, very hot day in Bad Homburg. And we are into an extended rally now. That looked like it went long, or did it? No, it didn't. So we've still got work to do. 40-30. As it looks like Navarro just finds the baseline with one of the returns, and Gabby nets the response. So from the game, which I thought we were home and sailing on, we are still under a bit of pressure. So Gabs is going to need a first serve, ideally here, 40-30. Just spoken to the umpire. I'm not sure what that's about. But she's still looking quite confident, still moving around very, very well. Sense a tiny bit of agitation in her, but looking quite in control so far. So good serve down the tee, but it does come back from Navarro. But the return from Gabby's gone well long. I think we're going to enter deuce territory now. So from what looked like a very confident and strong service game, which I actually thought she'd held, but it must have been a let cord, we are now in a little bit of trouble. We are at deuce love one. But it's another great first serve from Gabby out wide, and Navarro nets the response. So the first serve is definitely paying dividends for the Romanian. And as we go on to the outside of the court, preparing for what we hope is the last point of this game. Fingers crossed and flippers crossed. Oh, that serves made it too. That sort of looked like it was going on, but it must have just caught the line. And we've got another long rally, which Gabby's dictating from. She's stepping into the court, moving forward. Coming right in now with the volley, and that is perfect. Again, hitting into the open court. That's a super well-constructed point from Gabby. And after a little bit of early pressure from 40-15, push back to deuce, she's able to hold her nerve. And that is a beautifully constructed point. The exchange from the back of the court, end to end. Gabby stepped in early on in the rally, started to edge forward, and then saw her opportunity, drive and volley into the court. Navarro was nowhere. Great start from both players, to be fair. 1-1 in, so they're both bringing it so far. Some really good tennis in the first 2 games. Let's hope this continues. Or, alternatively, let's just hope Gabby wins in straight sets. And, it's a hot day. We want to drink some water. I got some water, so that's all good. Just having a bit of coffee. Navarro serving, 15 love. Just a reminder, we are going to be talking about various other things throughout the course of today. We are, of course, going to be keeping a close eye on Gabby's match. We can't bring you any live pictures for broadcasting rights reasons on this one because it is a 500 event. So I think if we showed any of that live, then we would get in a bit of trouble and probably banned. So we're not going to take the risk. However, do watch on your local broadcasters. If you're not able to, we are following the match ourselves and we have all of the stats in front of us too. So we will do our very, very best to take you through everything that's happening, all of the drama. And throughout the day, we're going to be talking about other stuff too. We're going to be talking about Wimbledon, how it's looking for our players going into that. We're going to be talking about this horrible heat wave, and we're going to be posing the question throughout the show: when is too hot? When is it too hot? What was the question? I said it earlier. I said it correctly earlier, didn't I? When is it too hot? I think it is just when is it too hot? I think that's the question. When is it too hot? When is too hot too hot? That was it. Yes. I forgot my own phrase then. When is too hot too hot? That is going to be today's question. So we will be looking at that throughout the course of today. And that's really our topic because it's the massive, massive heat wave here in the UK where a couple of our players already are. Jacqueline Christian and Sarana Castella are both in London at Wimbledon currently. And there is a heat warning across the whole of the south of England. I'm in Bristol, which is 100 miles away, southwest of London, and we have a red weather warning, which is a danger to life. And I believe that London also have that too. So it is unbearably hot in the UK at the moment. So, as I said earlier on, we do spare a thought for all of the players who are Wimbledon qualifying, also all of the players at Wimbledon at the moment who are training and who are practicing in this cauldron of heat. And also the other tournaments, of course, Eastbourne, where I've just come from. I said earlier in the programme that I was having breakfast with my friend on the last day. I left on yesterday, Wednesday, and even walking to the pub for breakfast, 9 a.m, it was unbearable. And I just said to him, I'm actually glad I'm going home. And that's me sitting in the stands. God knows what it's doing for the players. The weather in the UK at the moment is unbearable. So we will be talking about that, how hot is too hot. But our main focus is Gabby at the moment, and we are into the 3rd game, and she is having a nice go at Navarro's service game here. And as I've been talking, we were at 30-30. There was a long exchange, and we've got a beautiful down the line forehand winner from Gabby, licking the line. She's tucked into the outside of the court, and she just whips it down. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's brought her up break point. It really was a lovely shot off the back of a very long exchange. And she's going now, coming in towards the net, attacking once more, but Navarro just goes for the passing shot, which Gabby tries to reach, but pushes it out long. But there is a real statement of intent from Gabby at the moment. She's hitting so well from the baseline, and every opportunity, every time she's got Navarro on the back foot, she's trying to step forward and she's trying to finish off those points as early as possible. We saw it in the earlier game when she was under a little bit of pressure on her own service game. Couple of strokes in, steps into the forecourt, tries to get gradually, naturally as well forwards, not rush into the net, but transgressing towards the net and just really trying to make the court as small as possible for Navarro, who was visibly, even though she is now serving at ad in. She's visibly looking a little bit flustered in these early exchanges. Let's not get excited yet. We are only in the third game, but both players have served well. It's really Gabby so far. She goes for the drop shot now, and she goes for the lob as Navarro comes in, but the lob's going to go well long, and Navarro will hold. But yeah, it's Gabby who's looking very, very dangerous on the return games. Of course, she was in a bit of trouble herself earlier on in the second game where she was 40-15. We thought that she'd got through the door, but we haven't got the sound on. I think it must have been a let cord, which we wouldn't have heard, and the servers retaken, but we thought that she'd actually won the game. However, she had to retake the serve, and then she got pushed to deuce. So there was a little bit of tension in that game. However, it's looking very, very promising. We're only 3 games in. There's been no breaks yet. Gabby has had the best chance in that last game there with the most beautiful attacking forehand down the line. I imagine that's going to be on one of these WTA reels, when they pick out the highlights and they put on Instagram some of the good shots. And I think we'll probably see that one because that's the shot of the match so far. It was a running forehand off the back of a fairly lengthy exchange, and she just slammed it down the line, almost like a Nadal looping forehand, and it was the precision, the way it landed too. It was just clean off the line, and it was nothing. It had everything. It was a hit and winning forehand on the run. Navarro had no chance, and it was an absolute beauty. I mean, you think about Gabby's attack game, you think how good she is with the backhand, but oh my god, that was an incredible forehand winner, and it's the kind of tennis that we're getting from her with all this confidence, especially on grass, where she seems to have found a new version of herself really. But yeah, very exciting 3 games so far, and that's going to be our key focus. But we are talking a lot about the heat today as well. And it's not just the UK. We've been talking about the heat wave in the UK. It's also where they're playing inbound Homburg. We saw the temperature come up earlier, and it was 37 degrees, 99 Fahrenheit. So Gabby, who we remember did pull out the French Open with heat stroke, is having to play in some pretty tough conditions over there at the moment. We're seeing pictures of the crowd as well. Every man and his dog's got the what they call the fans, which I know that does put players off quite a bit sometimes, but neither seems to be too bothered at the moment as Gabby goes for another serve out wide, but that one has gone long. Using the wide serve a lot so far, Gabby, which is quite a good play because it is, as I said earlier, it's allowing her to push Navarro out of position, and it's opening up the court for her, and she's really hitting into the open space. It's kind of serve plus one. Well, I think the intent is to serve plus one. That looks like what she's trying to do. She's trying to make the point short. She's trying to open up the space with really big serving. And as we've been saying all through and at the beginning and all through the week, really, Gabby's serving has been really, really impressive. I mean, not so much the numbers, but just the application, the way that she's managing the service games, the way that she's finding the big aces and the big serves when she needs them the most. We haven't really seen that flavour from Gabby Ruse this regularly before, so it's really lovely to see. She's serving with such confidence. And as I said before, the second round match, which I missed because I was travelling back from Eastbourne at the time, but looking at the numbers and reading the reports and just the research I did on it after, it sounded like it was a close first set, but she was under quite a bit of pressure in the second, but she was able to weather the storm, and that's what we're seeing so much. And I think we're seeing it all year. We're just seeing a confidence in Gabby, which I feel has definitely been lacking over the years. I think it was there for a little bit last season. I think we saw a very strong Gabby Ruse in the first half of the year, but she kind of got lost in the second half of the year, really at this sort of time. I mean, she had that amazing run at her Tockenbosch and lost the final there, but didn't really kick on from there. I mean, there was a W75 title at the end of the year. I was incredibly happy for her that she was able to pick up a title at the end of the season, even if it was an ITF one, because that would have given her a bit of confidence in the year. But she really did have a bit of a poor spell after such a strong start. And again, we're into that same time of year right now where Gabby's form did dip, but it does feel different this year. It feels like it is more of an evolution. I think the biggest, and I may have said it at the time, but the biggest win for me with Gabby last season was she played a whole year virtually. There were a few injuries, but virtually injury and illness free, which we haven't always seen over the previous years. It's been something that's really hindered her. So even though the form kind of abandoned her a little bit in the second half, we saw her play probably one of the most matches or tournaments even that she's played in a long time, and that was for me, that was a step forward as her coach Andre's nodding away with approval, so that's always a good sign. We're under a little bit of pressure today. We're at 1-2 and serving at 30-30. Looks like we're going for the second serve now. But yeah, as I said all along, I mean, winning breeds confidence anyway, but she's a lot more settled. And I think the biggest difference for Gabby this year is she's handling pressure points much better. We've seen her so many times just looking at this second serve, which goes down the tee. Navarro does find the baseline, but she can't get the second one back as Gabby puts it back in and finds herself safely to 40-30. Breathing slightly heavily, but again, still looking very composed, looking very relaxed. Mentioned the temperature, it is very hot over in Bad Homburg at the moment. It's game point at 1-2 on serve. And again, misses the first serve. So the first serve percentage is going to be a little bit low at the moment. Goes for the tee with the second. Navarro gets it back, but Gabby just overpresses the return, and that goes well long. So once again, we are at deuce. And I was talking about the pressure point, so this is a good opportunity for her to prove me right. But no, I think we saw, not just last year, but many times throughout Gabby's career, we've seen her in positions where she's been a setup, she's been a break, sometimes a double break up, and she's been in total command of the match, and it's just dipped. But I thought what we saw, even as far back as Australia this year, was a complete change in that mentality, because she found herself in those positions once again, and she was able to manage it much, much better and reassert herself into the matches, which is something she wasn't always able to do. And I think that's given her a little bit more confidence. And you're seeing a lot less animation. Or actually, I will rephrase that, because Gabby's got a lot of energy, and she is a very animated player on court. But I'd probably say you're seeing a lot less negative animation from her these days, which of course that goes hand in hand with good results and playing with a lot of belief and confidence. But she's so much more focused, and I think she's drawn from that ability to play better on those big points. And as she just hits an absolutely brilliant inside-in winner to safely get herself to 2-2. So again, a little bit of pressure on Juice. However, watching this now, and again, I've got one eye on it, and I'm just keeping an eye on you guys too, making sure you're not falling asleep. But no, I think another great winner there. Super way to finish the game. But the two games so far where she's been taken to dues, there's still been a composure about them. I've not really felt a panic yet. I've not felt that she's in trouble. She looks in control of her service games. I don't think Navarro's had a break point yet. I think so. We've been pushed to juice a couple of times as again attacking forehand back into that ad corner as well. She's really attacking that target. And she goes up love 15 early on the Emma Navarro serve. But yeah, I don't feel when I'm watching Gabby's service games, even though I mentioned just now that the first serve could maybe come up a little bit, that would help her. And she's finding herself 40-15, finding herself to juice. I don't feel I'm panicking yet. I think she just looks in control, irrespective of the score. And I don't think, even with Navarro extending those service games, she's not really creating enough pressure on Gabby yet. So yeah, I'm not panicking. And the ones that have gone to juice, Gabby's got herself out of quickly. So it's not been one of these ones where you're in juice for 10 minutes and you're getting game point and break point. She's managing those games really well. And as I said earlier, it's that ability to manage the pressure points, which is certainly for me one of the biggest improvements that she's made this season, as Navarro's serving at 15-15. She also, again, we'll probably look at the numbers towards the end of the set, maybe at the end of the set, but she also would probably want to see a few more first serves go in. Neither of them hitting that number too well. It's Navarro now stepping in with a really big cross court forehand. Gabby gets it back, but it just sends it well long. So yeah, I still feel that, look at the body language of the two players. I definitely feel Gabby's a lot more composed, as I said earlier. I feel that Navarro does look, even though it's so early, it's still very close. Both are holding well. Um, I just feel Navarro looks a little bit more agitated and perhaps a bit more frustrated that she's not done more with these Ruse service games. I said the last couple have gone to juice, but I don't believe she's manufactured a break point out of it. So she'll be a little bit flustered, a bit frustrated. But at the moment, we haven't had a break, and the best opportunity came, I believe it was in game three, and that was Gabby who created a break point with one of the shots of the, maybe the shots of the week, really. It was an absolutely gorgeous running forehand, and anyone that plays at any level knows how hard those are to pull off. I mean, it was, I don't know how many strokes they were into, maybe 4 or 5 strokes going cross court, stepped in far end ad court and just, it was a looping forehand winner, but it was hit so powerfully and it just lit the line, and it was totally gorgeous. And as I said earlier, I reckon that'll be on the WTA highlights reel. I think they might stick that one on Instagram, as they do when you often get a good shot. But yeah, that was an absolute beauty of a shot. They showed the replay as well, and yeah, it's just. uh, I mean, it was just everything about it. I think it was the execution as well. It's a difficult. It was a difficult ball to make, but it was just the confidence that she struck it with. It was the power, the pace, and it just. It's one of those ones that you probably pull off 1 in 10 attempts, and to give her a break point as well. Again, really went for it and it came off. So she's playing with so much confidence, but we are early days into the first set. But it's looking promising. Like I said before, I mean, if you weren't with us at the beginning, they popped up the, this isn't me, this is the broadcasters, but they popped up the win predictor. And I honestly thought it was very generous. I thought, I think it was 57% to Emma Navarro, who is the favourite. Let's remind everyone of that. And she's got the 3-0 head to head against Gabby. But Gabby was given a very, very generous 43%. And I think that was extremely respectful of how well she's been playing on grass this season, how well she's been playing this tournament. So I think they've given, they've made Navarro the slight favourite, in other words, which I think is really good. I think it's a testament to Gabby's level, because again, on paper, you look at all the other things, you look at their rankings, you look at all the other stats that you need to. It's always going to be Emma Navarro is going to be the favourite in this match, but I think they've really calculated recent form, and obviously the wins that Gabby's had. She's beaten 2 top players already so far this tournament, and she's come from qualifying yet again. We've got to keep reminding people of this. Her Bosch last year when she reached the final, she did that from qualifying. It was an absolutely unbelievable run to the final, and she's done the same here at Bad Homburg, and she's done it off the back of returning to her Bosch and beating the player that she lost to in the final the previous year, then falling short a little bit in the quarterfinals, which she would be disappointed with. But I think she's probably analysing these weeks a lot better too. I think because she's also a player that can be quite hard on herself, but I think she's looking at that thinking, I've beaten Elisa Mertens for the first time, who beat me in the final the previous year. I've lost to a former Wimbledon champion in the quarterfinals. That's not a bad week's work. And she's gone to Bad Homburg with her head held really high. And we're just seeing this. I mean, as I often say, the level's always high when Gabby's on it, but we're seeing a consistency this whole season, which we've just not seen previously with Gabby. But she's crouching down at the moment. I'm not sure if that's just touching her back actually. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Just see how she's moving. We are 15-30 at 2-3 on Gabby Ruse's serve. So she is under a little bit of pressure now. Pause to have a bit of coffee. Goes for the wide serve again from the ad end. However, that one does sail long, so she'll have to serve a second serve at 15-30. Undeterred, goes for the same spot, and that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. That was a big wide second serve. It absolutely kissed the line, and once again, it pushed Navarro to the side of the court. It allowed Gabby to create the space on the other side of the court, which she was able to hit into. Just going to see a replay of it now. So it's a beautiful double-handed backhand down the line, and Navarro was absolutely nowhere. And that's, as I said earlier, if you weren't here, that's the play that she's executing so well this tournament, but also this match, is she's using the wide serve to open up the court and to hit into the open space. And so far, when she's pulled that off, Emma's just not been able to defend against it. It's been so effective. It's classic serve plus one tennis. It looks like that's the clear game plan. The other thing that we're seeing from Gabby, she's trying to get forward as much as possible. So there's a real intention of really wanting to finish the points as quickly as possible. I think that comes from knowing that she's serving so well this week. I mean, we looked at the numbers yesterday, 14 aces as we go to 3-3 now in the first set. 14 aces, I think it was in the end, crazy. But I think she's confident with her service games that she's given herself that belief to back herself a lot behind the serve and go for those big shots, those big serve plus ones. And said earlier as well, one of the key things we're seeing about Gabby this season is handling the pressure points. So that's going to give her a little bit of belief to do that too. But yeah, I do. I mean, conscious that it's 37 degrees, as we must keep reminding everyone, because obviously Gabby did have the heat stroke in the French Open, which was tragic. No signs of her struggling too much so far, but I said there's been one or two. We've got an eye on her, but there's one or two reactions where she's got down on her knees. She's touched her back as well. But 90% of the time she's looking quite composed and she's moving around very well at the back of the court. I've lost my Kindle Fire, but I have to stick with this. But yeah, she's looking in good control. As we go, love 15 up on Navarro serve at 3-3. They often call it the difficult 7 game. Is it going to be a difficult 7 game for Emma Navarro? It's a long rally here. Gabby's hitting backhand after backhand at her, but they are coming back. Opens the court for a forehand down the line, and it's not returned by Navarro, and it's another brilliant shot from Gabby. No chance from Navarro in the end. Really long rally. There is a little bit of exasperation on Gabby's face after that long point. So we said earlier, it does look like she is doing everything she can to try and keep the points as short as possible. I think Navarro needs to feed off of that from her end and realise what's happening, because Gabby is really, really doing well when she's playing aggressive tennis and stepping in. But that was another great. Navarro did get this one back. It was an attacking forehand down the line. Navarro returned it, but it went well long of the service box line. And it's now love 30, but Navarro just loops that one back into the court. Wrong foots Gabby, hits inside in winner. And she's given herself a little bit of hope in this service game. Again, the difficult 7 game, as people call it. It is 15-30 on Navarro's serve. So we have a very, very close set now. And this is a huge point for Navarro as she goes for the serve out wide. Gabby can't return it. She nets the return. And that will give Navarro a little bit more confidence as she goes 30-30. And I have lost my Kindle Fire at the moment. It's okay, I'm watching it on the laptop, so I can still see what's happening, but I don't have the stats. I'm worried if I press anything on the Kindle Fire, the phone may fall over. So that could be a technical disaster. And my toes hurting too. Right, so second serve, 30-30, 3-3. We are in the crunch of the first set. And the tennis is almost as hot as the weather at the moment. And that's another brilliant return from Gabby. Once again, she's stepping in. She goes backhand down the line just outside the net, and it's a beautiful winner. Once again, in a very similar fashion to earlier on, she has manufactured another break point, and she's done it with an absolutely gorgeous winner. She's sticking firmly to that attacking game plan. She really is using every opportunity she can. She hit big shots from the baseline, stepping in whenever she can. as Navarro goes T with the serve, and it's a bit of a lackluster return for Gabby, unfortunately, and that gets netted, and it is deuce, and you can see the ironic smile on Gabby's face. She is not happy with herself for that one. Oh, the TV's going to turn itself off. We can't have that, can we? Hang on. Oh dear. Press any button. Excuse me. Oh. I've got to have the Gabby slideshow behind me. God, we can't have that turning itself off. Right. I don't know what happened there, but we are at another break point, so that's good news in itself. Technical issue happened. I had to quickly address it. So it is break point. It is add out for Emma Navarro, who again misses the first serve. So you've got to be patient now, Gabs. Really go for it on this second one. Just hope she doesn't lash out at it and just times this return perfectly. So Navarro goes for a good serve tee, and it opens up. So there was a couple of exchanges there, and Gabby, who was sort of central behind the baseline, hits an absolute gorgeous inside-in winner forehand, and she has broken Emma Navarro, and she has now taken control of this set. She's 4-3. They call it the difficult seventh game. It certainly was a difficult seven game for Emma Navarro. And Gabby, who in this very, very close set, who has, definitely been the more attacking of the two players, I feel. I think she's winning her points a lot more than Emma Navarro is, and any points that she's losing, a lot of them are on her own racket. So she's really dictating everything that's happening in this match. Navarro is pushing her as best she can. She's defending moderately well, but at the moment she's the one struggling to cope with the sheer power of Gabby Ruse. And she's, as I said before, she's got this very clear game plan where she is trying to keep those points as short as possible. And so far it is working because she's using that beautiful wide serve, opening up the court, hitting into the space. Some gorgeous shots off both wings, really. I mean, we've seen a brilliant winner earlier on in the third game that set up the first break point. Down the line winner, forehand on the run as well. It just absolutely kissed the line. And like I keep saying, for me, if I'm editing the WTA Instagram page, that one goes on the highlights reel for me. Maybe it already has, I don't know. But it is very, very hot. And as they sit down at the change of ends, Gabby has had the ice towel round her neck. There's been, I've said, a few moments after one or two of the longer points where she has looked a little bit exasperated, but overall she's moving well. She looks confident. She's walking around the court like she owns it. So she's carried through her success from the previous matches. She's looking very, very strong. Again, it's about to serve, and there's that big deep breath, which I'm sure people who watch Gabby quite a lot are familiar with. But she's now serving with the break, 4-3, does miss the first one. Looks like she's going for the tee. This is where, the mentality is truly tested, and this is where we've seen a different version of Gabby in recent weeks. But again, as I say that, she does double fault, so she's probably going to want to take a few more seconds here and just get everything down a tempo, just relax, breathe, remind herself what the score is and that she's in front and just how well she's playing, and hopefully she can execute the game plan the way she's been doing it. And that, as I say that, that's an absolutely brilliant serve. First serve down the tee. Navarro's got no chance, just pops off the back of a racket, goes into space. Again, double fault, beauty down the line. The clarity of thought with the serving is superb. I mean, it's again, I'm not even going to bother with stats with Gabby serving this week. The matches that I've watched her, the way she's been serving, just the execution and the confidence. I don't really care about the 50 or the 60 or the 70% first, second, or all of that. It's just the way she's playing the points. She's just serving with such confidence first and second. And I think that one's gone long, has it? Yes, it has. So we've gone 30-15 up in this game where Gabby just wants to, assert her authority. She's gone an early break up. If you've not long joined us, we are 4-3 up in the first set. It is a very, very exciting and close match so far. Gabby has definitely looked the better of the two players. She's certainly the more attacking of the two players. She's trying to keep the points short as quickly as possible. She has put more pressure under Navarro's serve, who, again, if I'm Emma Navarro, I probably want to try and make the points as long as possible, because Gabby is very deliberately playing this brand of tennis where she's trying to keep them short. She's trying to push the ball out wide on the serve, open up the court, move in as quickly as possible. We're seeing that a lot. She's coming to the net so much. She wants to really get these points over as quickly as possible. So if Navarro, and again, I've not seen it yet, but if Navarro's got a tennis head on, she needs to be conscious of that, because for her to make an impact on this match, she's going to want to try and make Gabby move as much as possible, try and get balls in play, and try and extend the rallies as long as she can. Because so far in this first set, where Gabby's just gone 5-3 up, that is definitely the biggest weakness in the Ruse game. I think she has shown, it's a very hot day. She has shown that she's struggling a little bit more. I don't think it's just the game plan, but she's struggling a little bit more on these extended points. So I don't actually feel at the moment Navarro seems to be conscious of that, or maybe she's not being allowed to play in the way that she may want to. But I don't feel that she's doing enough to really make Gabby keep playing more balls, because it just seems to be dictated off the Ruse racket at the moment. Um, However, that is a beautiful drop shot from Navarro, to be fair. So she's introducing a little bit of variety. She's probably into one of her more confident service games. She goes 30 love up, but it was a drop shot from the baseline. Very good disguisement. I definitely didn't see it come in. Nice little slice as well. Um, yeah, it's just they're just showing the slow motion replay, and it's, yeah, I think that took us all by surprise. Really, that was a beautiful play from Navarro. But she does look. I talked about Gabby, maybe more so after the longer points, you see the conditions affecting her. But of the two of them, Navarro does look the more physically troubled, I feel. I think just, I mean, you never quite know what's going on with tennis players. Players like Andy Murray and Del Potro used to look knackered all the time, didn't they? And they play for 6 hours. But yeah, I just think it is a very, very hot day. It does look like, and don't forget, Navarro played an extremely long match against Iga Swiatek yesterday. I think that's going to take its toll too. But she does look definitely the more agitated of the two players, as she was 40 30. But Gabby's saying, hang on a minute, let's have a little look at this game as well. Don't go anywhere just yet. And she's stepped into this one 15-40. It's another great attacking cross court forehand, which Navarro just can't get. She just can't get to the ball quick enough. And Gabby's opened up this game a little bit. I think that was a let there. I have a little bit of my coffee. So we'll see if she can do anything with this little bit of pressure that she's added, but she can, because Navarro goes for a really big serve down the tee, and that just flies off the Ruse racket. She's got no chance with that one. So the pressure is on Gabby now to serve for the first set at 5-4 when they come back. Said before, umbrella straight away. If I'm one of those players, I want my umbrella up immediately. But fair play to the ball kids, they are on it. We're looking at Emma Navarro at the moment, but we did see Gabby had the ice towel around her for the whole duration of the last changeover. And we're just seeing a slow motion replay of Gabs. I'm not sure what point in the game it was, but she's got her hands on her hips, taking a very deep breath. Again, you don't know whether that's the conditions or it could just be a reaction to missing a point. But like I said, it does look like, with 37 degrees, the quite brutal conditions out there, Gabby is seemingly handling it much, much better. And as I keep saying, 90% of this set, she's looked in total control. She's moved about from the back of the court with absolute confidence. She's striking the ball with conviction. She's doing what she's been doing pretty much all week, definitely, and most of the year, she's handling the pressure points so much better. We're not seeing her fly off the handle. We're not seeing her argue with a coach or anything like that, which is beautiful to see, especially in these conditions, because you want to save as much energy as you possibly can when it's this hot. And Gabby again has had the ice tower around her, and I think that's if I was to give any advice to players like Jacqueline Christian and Sarana Castella for Wimbledon next week, again, they've just got to make sure that they save as much energy as possible and just keep resetting, because you can. I often say, I mean, it's such an emotional sport, as everyone knows, and I'm guilty more than anyone. But I when you sort of explode and kick off and get really angry. I always say sometimes you've got to let it out, but let it linger. But when it's this hot, you've really got to make a conscious effort to just make sure you keep rolling on to the next point. And it's the same for both as well. I find it equal for winning points and losing points. If you miss, move on. But even if you win a really good point, take Gabby's amazing forehand winner down the line in that third game, I would just do a little fist pump, because it's too hot to bounce up and down like a kangaroo. You've got to manage those conditions, and both players are doing it really well. And as I talk about this, we're looking again at the crowd. Everyone's got hats on, everyone's got their fans out, and fair play to them. Yeah, so quite a good turnout for this quarterfinal day in Bad Homburg. The weather has not deterred many of the tennis fans in the crowd, which is lovely to see as Gabby goes 15-15 with an unforced error. Just have a little bit of my coffee. Anyone joining us, it is a very close one, this one. Gabby is in control. However, she's serving for the first set at 5-4. She's serving extremely well. But, as I say that, Navarro does draw her in again with the return, but Gabby gets there with plenty of time. It's another sort of sneaky drop shot attempt, but Gabby reads this one so well, and she hits the passing forehand winner down the line, and Navarro's got no chance. The clarity of thought from Gabby Ruse there is absolutely perfect. I mean, Navarro, if you weren't with us earlier, she pulled off a really sneaky drop shot. It's one of the few highlights from her end, but I think she tried to do the same again on the back of that last service point. But Gabby read it so well, and she was there in a flash, absolutely flew to the net, and she got to the ball and hit such a clean passing winner. And Navarro had no chance. And it's 2 set points now, 40-15. This really has been an excellent shift from Gabby Ruse so far. A ball to the ball toss, we can forgive her for that. The conditions are brutal. She's probably got a lot of sun in her eyes. Is wearing a white cap, a white visor. Well, visor, isn't it? Visor. Visor's the one without the top bit, isn't it? So she's got a white that. Again, in a black dress today, which I wouldn't advise in this weather, but she's fine with it. And still having a little bit of problem with the ball toss there. Now going for the serve, goes for the body serve, and we're into another rally. But again, that looked a very. I don't want to get everyone's hopes up, but that looked a very exhausted forehand return from Navarro. That last shot of the final point, and it did look a very sort of tired return. And Gabby has won the first set 6-4 now. A little bit of the shake of the head, going straight to the umbrella, ice towel around the neck immediately, grabs a bag of ice too. So both players are really, really feeling the heat. And as I said before, I think Gabby's handling it much better. Looking at the stats now, they've just come up. Neither are particularly doing well on the first serve percentage. 48 for Navarro, 47 for Gabby Ruse. Gabby's won more points against it. Gabby's made more winners, 9-5. Net points, we talked about her coming forward, 7-8. That's amazing. More unforced errors, but again, she's playing a high risk game, so 7-2 there. She's won 3 more points than Navarro, so 33-30. And as I said earlier in the match, and it hasn't changed throughout, Navarro has not, she's pushed Gabby to juice a few times, but she has not manufactured a single break point on the Gabby Ruse serve. So that is really, really the key one for me. And it's just the confidence that Gabby is playing with. I don't know if I am surprised. I mean, I mentioned earlier about both players missing the first serve quite a lot. So I I'm always surprised when it's in the 40s, to be fair, but I would have thought it was maybe more 50%. But yeah, it doesn't matter because both players' are first serving percentage is in the 40s. So um, it's really the difference in this set, again, from what I've just witnessed and from what those stats have told me, is Gabby is playing the much more aggressive tennis. She's got a very, very clear game plan. She knows what she wants to do. She wants to keep those points as short as possible. She's backing herself behind both the first and crucially the second serve. And we've seen some, and this is worth risking double faults for. We've seen some big second serves too. She's executing the game plan on, not always. It's a measured and intelligent performance from Gabby Ruse. Let's not forget that. But she's backing herself in some big second serves. She's going for the big wide one on the second. Not afraid to hold back. Wants to risk a potential double fault. She's got that much confidence with the serve, and she wants to stick to her game plan of trying to open up the court and hit winners into the open space. So she's playing both the first and the second with so much confidence. And Navarro, who's just kicked off the second set now, 15-love on this one. And we've just got to hope that the second set continues in the same way that the first one has. But as I'll keep saying, because I know people keep coming and going. So if you're hardcore and you're with us all the way through, God bless you. Thanks for your support. But yeah, I do have to repeat myself a few times just for any newcomers. But it is very, very hot out there today in Bad Homburg. The temperature at the start of the match was shown as being 37 degrees and 99 Fahrenheit. So you get the impression both players are feeling that. Gabby looks to be, I mean, as I keep saying, Gabby's the one we worry about because she had the heat stroke problem in the French Open. So, but at the moment, she's the one who's handling it so much better. And she's just looking so composed during the games. She's doing everything she can to stay cool in every single change of end. She's going for that umbrella. She's going for the ice towel. She's trying to cool her body down as much as she can. She is a little bit exasperated after some long points, which again, we think that's the reason why she's trying to keep these points as short as possible. She's in total control of her own service game so far. She hasn't faced a break point yet. And she's playing a really strong attacking game. And it's Navarro that seems to be struggling with the sheer power of Ruse's game. She's struggling with the conditions a lot more. We do remind you that she played, it was 3 sets. I'm not sure what the length was, but it was a long match. She played 3 sets against Iga Swiatek, the top seed, yesterday. So she's going to feel a little bit tired. She does look visibly tired. And certainly on set point, it was probably the fourth or fifth point of the fourth or fifth stroke of the point, but it was a very surrendering forehand which she sent out for the unforced error on the back of the rally, and she conceded that set almost in like an exhausted fashion. So she's definitely the one feeling the elements. But you've got to be careful. You've got to remember that she's got so much experience, and she's a top player. Gabby's got to make sure that she keeps doing everything that she's been doing. She sticks to the game plan. She stays confident. As I say this, she's doing exactly that. Another big serve. She comes in straight behind it. It's not so much a serve volley, but it's a follow up. She's going for the approach as soon as she goes for the big serve. Navarro comes in, but it's a very lovely drop shot from Gabby as she gets it into the forecourt. And again, it's too much for Navarro. She's nowhere near it physically. She's just not keeping up with Ruse, and that's you get that Gabby's really thinking clearly, and she's conscious of what's happening, and you're seeing so much variety in her game, and it's very, very exciting. So as I say that, what's just happened? We've gone 30-love up. So we are, for anyone that's just joining, Gabby has won the first set 6-4. We are into the second game of the second set. We are on serve. Gabby serving at 30-love. It's a very, very, very hot day as the return from Navarro is netted and Gabby is safely up to 40-love. This will give her a lot of confidence if she can hold on this point here. So let's just have a bit of coffee and see if she does. Okay, I got to keep saying it. I mean, I love I love the attitude. I love the way that she's playing. I love the way that she's handling the difficult moments, and not just this match, but all the matches this week. And this consistency of confidence, really. But that's a good return from Navarro off the wide serve. Again, Gabby goes for the drop shot for the second time into the forecourt, but it's very poorly executed and doesn't quite make it. So she's given herself a little bit more work to do on this service game as we go 40-15. I don't know. I think there was a. I think she. I'm just looking at the replay. I think she almost like changed her mind and made the decision to go for the drop quite late, and it didn't come off. But it doesn't matter because she's just hit another booming forehand down the line winner to hold, and it's 1-1. And again, that is, we talk about the 2026 Gabby, and that is the point management, the game management right there. To have to be fair, a fairly poor point like that, where she's made a bit of a hash of things and she's sort of been a bit indecisive and really sort of conceded a point of 40-15. A lot of the time, that can make you feel a bit down and start to doubt yourself. To back that up and to not get into trouble and just to hit out another banging forehand winner. I mean, what did we see? We saw 9 in the first set. There's already a couple in this set, I think. It just shows where she is mentally, that ability to going from point to point. And I think that's why we're seeing such a different version of Gabby Ruse. And I'm very excited about the second half of the season because, as I said earlier, the second half of last year really filtered out for Gabby. I think she lost all belief in herself. She had one too many matches where she was seemingly in control, and she lost her way, and I think that really affected her. There was a few injuries too, but she just completely lost her confidence in the second half of the year after a really good start. But I really feel that she's learned a lot from that, and I think what we're seeing is maybe she was boosted by the Herzogenbosch final, which was really the high point of her season last year. Another big final like that, and on grass, they come from nowhere, and I think that maybe again only Gabby will know this, but maybe that gave her something of a false sense of security, and she perhaps went into the second half of the year a little overconfident, which can happen. But I think there's a lot of lessons learned because we're definitely seeing and watching Gabs all the time as I do. We're seeing plot points in matches where in last season and certainly seasons before she's commanded or been in a very commanding position, and she's thrown it away, and her confidence has just gone, and she's crumbled. And one bad point, a bit like that ill-advised drop shot earlier, one bad point has twisted it. But we're seeing a bounce back and a continual bounce back in almost all of her matches, and we're not seeing her shoulders drop. We're just seeing such a strong Gabby Ruse. And I think I may have said this in one of my posts, but I think what we're seeing the Gabby outside of the matches, inside the matches now. We're seeing the way that during the course of the seasons that have gone by, where she's had to deal with so much adversity on the road, if you will, where she's had like big finals. She had the Cluj final in 2023, and she started 24 with so much confidence, but then she got injured in I think the first or second tournament, and she had to go right back to the beginning again. She had to miss Cluj, which could have been killed her really, to play that in October and then to get to the final, and the excitement of having it in February, but then to get injured in January and to not play it. And bless her, she still went there and still sort of said hello to the fans and stuff. It's a testament to her character, but that would have really hurt because she ended 23 so strong and so full of belief. And there was also on the back of that was the Billie Jean King Cup too, so she had a lot of success there. And she must have really felt that she was making it at the end of that year. But then to start 2024 with the injury, and it's not the first time. And throughout the course of Gabby's career, we've seen it so many times where she's had spells where she's really pushed on, but she's been hindered by an illness or an injury, and she's had to continually start again. She's had to go back to the beginning. In the case of 24, she went back to the ITF and played tournaments there and rebuilt from there. And then I said, we're seeing her bounce back over and over again. But I think what I mean is the way she does that almost like on a week to week basis, the way that she keeps handling all of the crap stuff that life is throwing at her, and the way she keeps determined to fight back and to try and get back her ranking, try and get back to where she was. We're seeing a is it microcosm? Microchism? Micro something. We're seeing a micro something of that in her matches now. I think we're seeing her handling the adversity inside the matches a lot more than we've seen previously. So that's kind of what I mean when I say we're seeing the Gabby Ruse from outside of the matches, inside of the matches. We're seeing like this version of her manage the matches the way that she's managed her career so far, and it's really, really exciting. And long may it continue. And I honestly think, like I said, I don't think you never know with tennis, and anything can happen. And we pray to God that she's healthy for the rest of the year. Of course, we do first and foremost. You never quite know, but I don't think we're going to get the same as what we got last year. I think she's learned as she just hits a booming ace down the tee. We are 2-1. 30-15. It's on serve in the second set. Gabby has won the first set 6-4, playing a very, very aggressive and effective game. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see the same as last year. I think she's learned a lot about herself, and I think she's learned that through what happened to her in the second half of the season last year. And I think she's learned the brilliant start from Australia. That's when we first saw it. We saw it in Australia where she was handling those big moments in the big matches much, much better than she's ever done. And it got her to the third round for the first time. We saw a little bit of a drop off in February. And I think that was, again, I think it was stage fright. I think she went to Cluj feeling so confident off the back of a really strong January. And I think just it's just one of those situations. And again, Massarova's a decent player, as everyone knows. I do the Swiss page as well, and I know Massarova, and I know how well she's playing this year as Gabby goes 2-2 in the second set. I just feel, and watching that match live as I did, because I was at Cluj for the whole week, she just seemed a little bit nervous, a bit agitated, and I think she went to that knowing that she got to the final a few years ago, knowing that she'd missed it with injury in 24 as well. Such an important tournament for all the Romanian players. Going now, having such a really good start to the year, I think it was just a little bit of stage fright, and I think she got nervous, and we did see the best of her, and she fell in that first round against a decent opponent who's doing well this season. But she was able to regroup and really sort of some good performances in March, definitely. And like we always get with Gabby, she's always been a big match player, but we saw that consistency really come in from April, and it's not really left her. You know, we got to her first ever WTA 500 semi-final, and so strong clay court season. Very unfortunate with the French Open. That was just, but again, it happens, could happen to anyone. But she's proved her character once again as it's Navarro serving now at 15-15, 2-2. And it really is that consistency. So I don't think that we're going to see the same thing that we saw last season. I'm very excited for the second half of the year. I think that, and the other exciting thing, because there was the drop off last season, it means there's very little points to defend in the second half of the season, which is exciting. We saw her drop out of the top 100 recently, but you've got to remember that's only because of her top and Bosch and not being able to defend the final points. She's going to get back her ranking to where it was, if not higher, just as a result of how well she's doing at Homburg. So that's just going to go in one direction, and hopefully, and this is the big question mark, as I've always said, I think as there's a little bit more pressure from Gabby at 30-30, 2-2, so we've got one eye on that. I always feel Gabby over the years has had the worst luck with Grand Slam draws. You know, I talked about Wimbledon a couple of years ago when I went there with my friend Christina, and we watched Gabby in the first round. We were lucky enough to have tickets for court one, I think it was, and it was Jelena Rybakina, like the former champion, and she came out of blocks going for it. It was a really exciting start, but she just couldn't sustain it in the end. But yeah, she's had so many draws in Grand Slams where she's had big names either in the first or the second round. So she's owed. As we're at break point now, so just keep an eye on this. Yeah, she's owed a kind draw at Wimbledon, so we'll find out tomorrow. We've got all eyes on Gabby. We really want her to get a decent draw and bring this grass form to the big stage. Break point now. Navarro goes T. So wonderful return, forehand cross court from Gabby, but oh no, it's still in play. Once again, she's stepping in and she's broken. Another classic Gabby Ruse point. Great return from the initial serve. Good defence from Navarro, give her credit there. A couple more exchanges, but once again, as I've been saying all through the match, Gabby is stepping into the court at every opportunity. She's not rushing. She's got a clear game plan in her mind that she's got to get to the net, but she's got to get to the net naturally. She's constructing the points, building to the net as best she possibly can, and she's getting forward at every opportunity. We're about 3 or 4 strokes into that one. Just going to see the replay now, but she steps in and she just sends another sweet forehand into the court, and it's far too much for Navarro to cope with, and it is an absolute beauty. I think it's just looking now where the winner is, but such aggressive. I mean, we're seeing a slow-mo of Gabby at the moment, and you can just see that determination in her eyes. She's watching everything. She's got such a clear mind of where she is in this match, where she's thinking coaching team, they're on their feet, they're clapping away. I was going to say big smiles, but Andre's not smiling. Only Vlad's smiling. But yeah, no, they're very happy, certainly inside. But a little fist pump from Gabby. Still very, very hot. So as I keep saying, they've got to watch themselves in this. As exciting as it is internally, they've just got to keep their bodies as cool as possible. Once again, it's a change of ends. Gabby's got the break now. She's got that ice towel around her. But as I keep saying, when they're on that tennis court and they're playing those games, she is in control. She's doing absolutely everything she possibly can in the change of end. She's channeling that in exactly the way that she should be doing. She's keeping cool, ice towel, she's staying relaxed. But when she's stepping on the court, she is engaged. There's a slight run to almost like a brisk run to the baseline, but everything's just a tiny bit less measured on the energy point, if you get me, because I think she's conscious of the temperature and saving energy, and I think we're seeing a lot of that in Gabby's performance. Normally, I talk about Gabby having so much energy, she'll be bouncing around, she'll be running to the baseline, especially when she's in front, but she's very, very adapted to the conditions of this match because it's an extremely hot day, and she's taking everything into account, and she's just doing everything a step slower between the points and getting to the line. We're not seeing her any negative reactions when she misses. She's rolling on. We're not seeing her over celebrate, which is equally important because she's got to do everything that she can to save energy. But she is in a really, really commanding position now as she goes 30-love up, and it's 3-2. She's got the break of serve. She's already a set up 6-4 in the first set. She has unquestionably been the better player throughout the whole course of this match. Emma Navarro is causing a few problems here and there, but she does look tired. She played that long match with Iga Swiatek yesterday, the free setter, taking nothing away from Gabby. I think Emma is struggling with the conditions more. At least she is visibly. I'm sure Gabby doesn't feel comfortable at all inside, but she's got the adrenaline. She's being dictated by the fact that she's playing amazing tennis and she's in front. And again, she steps in once more, but this time the forehand goes well long, so a little bit over ambitious there. And this is the key thing: she doesn't want to get carried away, and she doesn't want to overpress, because what she's doing at the moment is perfect. It's absolutely every point is constructed beautifully. She's got her timing right. She's got her rhythm right. She's thinking so clearly. As I said, we just saw a slow-mo replay of Gabby's sort of reactions, if you will, and we saw her face and the way that she's watching the ball and the way that she's concentrating, and she is in the zone. And on the long shots as well, she's just controlling that baseline. She's just looking comfortable. She looks like she owns the court in a confident way, but not an arrogant way. And she's just playing with that belief that she's earned, not just from this week, but from this year. And as I often say, when a player has a good match or a good tournament, it's the result of months and months of hard work. You don't just wake up and beat like the world number one or something like that. You have to, it's the confidence comes from the wins, and the wins comes from just the incredible hard work. And I think that's something you don't give Gabs enough credit for. I was delighted that I think it was her Toggenbosch, or maybe even this tournament. I cannot remember, but the encore interview after, I think it probably was her Toggenbush actually. I was delighted that the interviewer did talk about how well she was looking physically and how much she was working um, outside of the matches, because that's something no one really gives players enough credit for. And it's the bits that you don't see. We only ever see them when they're playing tennis matches, and we never see the hard work that goes into the practice sessions, the training, the gym, the workouts, the schedules, and all of those things. We live in an age of Instagram now, when we do get a lot of players are kind enough to share snapshots of it. Some are very active with that, and they show you certain players show you like routines, what they do, and the time of day, and all of those things, which is incredibly interesting. But yeah, again, as I said, it's a snapshot. As Navarro is already under pressure at love 15-4, but it's 15-15 now as Gabby strives to return from the baseline. So it's getting very, very exciting. And if you're Gabby Ruse right now, don't wake up, because oh my god, we are on track. We still haven't, unless I've been chatting away and I've missed it. I don't believe we still haven't seen a break point yet, which is absolutely stunning. We've been put under a little bit of pressure and juiced a few times, mainly in the first set, but I don't think Navarro's manufactured a break point. As Gabby's moving in again, and it's another unforced error from the baseline from Navarro. So there's the Gabby fist pump and the knowing nod is in play. We are 15-30 up at 4-2, a set and 4-2, 6-4 the first set, 4-2 is the second set. Navarro serving at 15-30 under pressure. Gabby's looking hungry, moving about at the baseline, draws the error for the first serve. Navarro will have to serve the second serve. Goes out wide, overconfident hit from Gabby there, sends it well long. And Navarro just trying to reassert authority a little bit here, but still work to do in this game. It is 30-30, and she is serving at 2-4. It is a cliche. It's an annoying cliche, but she does not want to get broken in this game, because that probably would be too much. So it's Navarro that's really under pressure, but that's a big serve out wide. But a brilliant return from Gabby. Does find the baseline with the forehand return and goes for an absolute beauty cross-court forehand winner to bring up another break point. She is apologising. I'm not sure why, whether it clipped the net or not, but it looked cleanly struck to me. I think she may be saying that the first return was slightly mishit, but the forehand driving winner cross court is clean as a whistle. So I don't know why the Gabby hand is up there, but it might have just been a mishit on the first. But we're into break point and it goes long. Gabby has broken again. We are 5-2 up. Incredible. What a brilliant response that's been. So 6-4, 5-2, and Gabby is going to serve for a place in what would be only her second ever WTA 500 semi-final. How nervous are we all now? PP, are you nervous? I'm bloody nervous. What an amazing effort from Gabs today. Once again, as always, the ice towel is round the neck, as it has been every single change of ends. If you are just joining us, the temperature, mind you, I keep saying this, it may have dipped, who knows, but the temperature at the start of the match was apparently 36 degrees, bloody hot. We saw them walk out, blue sky. Every time we see the crowd, and God bless the crowd, it's a good crowd for the quarterfinal. So thanks to all of the people that have got a ticket and supported, of course, both players, but if you're supporting Gabby, love you. But yeah, we're seeing lots of shots of the crowd. They've got the fans out. I think the ones in, I'm guessing that's the South Stand. They're very lucky because they're under a lot of shade. But yeah, it's an incredibly hot day. Gabby is on court, definitely. Externally, handling it a lot better than Navarro is. But every time she sits down, we're seeing the ice towel. She's got the ice blocks on top of her head at the moment. She's wearing a visor as well. So she's got the top of her head. She's got the ice blocks on the very top of her head to keep herself cool that way too. Obviously, the ball kids are covering them with umbrellas at every opportunity. But Gabby is doing everything she can at the change of ends, crucially, to stay cool. But she's looking cool when she is playing on the games themselves, and she's looked in total control. Big challenge now. She is serving for the match at 5-2, and she's looking as confident as she has done in every other game. How is it going to go, though? There's always pressure. And of course, we don't think it's going to be straightforward. It never is it? We've missed the first serve, so going for the second. Is she going to go wide again? Is she going to back herself? She does go wide, and it's not returned by Navarro, and we're already 15-love up. And we got a close up of Gabby's face. There is a look of sheer determination there. And I don't think I've ever seen her more concentrated than I have in this match. You think about all of the pressure of the big wins that she's had so far. Brilliant serve again. Navarro cannot return the second one either. It's just, she just looks exhausted now as Gabby goes 30-love up. Yeah, I said she just looks like a player on a mission. She's in the zone, and I've got to keep saying that temperature is 36 degrees, and she is oblivious to it. And it's a cross-court winner, which Navarro's not going to get back. And we have 3 match points for Gabby Ruse. This is an incredible performance yet again. As we said at the beginning, Emma Navarro, not an easy opponent. She goes into this one at the start, 3-0 up on the head-to-head. Gabby goes for the wide serve. This one has gone long. But again, she just looks completely concentrated. You cannot see, I'm sure she's dying inside, but you cannot see any nerves on her face whatsoever. She goes for the second serve. That's gone out wide. Gabby Ruse has won and is through to the semi-finals of Bad Homburg. What an amazing performance. I'm sure we are going to see the famous, we are, yes, she's just doing her flight a little bit. She's added a little bit of Joe Wilford Zonga into that one as well. So we've had the Gabby flight, but she's put a little bit of the Zonga hop step into it. But what an amazing performance that was. 6-4, 6-2. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's just incredible. From the get-go, Gabby was just in charge of the match all the way through. She had a very clear game plan. She wanted to play aggressive. She wanted to keep the points short. Navarro definitely tired, definitely feeling the effects of the Swiatek match, but take away nothing from Gabby. It doesn't matter about the opponent in tennis because you have to manage everything, your side of the net, perfectly. And she's clapping Navarro off court, quite rightly too. But yeah, that was a phenomenal effort from Gabs. It really was. I'm so impressed with her, so happy for her too. And as I said, the consistency this week has been absolutely something else. And yeah, I mean, I love the attitude as well. I love the way that she's managed the games. She's had to. I keep saying this. I thought it is important, but she had the heat stroke in the French Open, and she's playing in like 36-degree temperatures today, and to come out and do that off the back of the previous wins that she's had, the top players that she's beaten, just absolutely amazing. And she's through to the semi-finals. And if she keeps, she's being interviewed now, and she's still got the ice towel on. So I think she's going to be straight in the ice bath after this one for sure. And I think now, just seeing the expression on her face, you can see that she's feeling the heat a little bit. But that makes it even more impressive. She's just so zoned in on on every single game, serve and return, and it's the best I've seen her manage everything, manage the points, manage the games, and manage the match. She's done everything absolutely right. She's executed the game plan the way she's wanted to. She's stayed cool when things haven't gone how she may have wanted them to plan out. She's kept, she's kept everything at baseline level in between points. She's hit some amazing winners. She's not over celebrated. She's made a few errors. She's not got down on herself, and she's just constantly responded. And it's almost like, I keep talking about these conditions, this heat. She's brought everything down to what I would say is a concentrated level, and I think that's crucial because she's not been as almost like as energetic as we normally see Gabby. She's dropped. I think not during the points, but between the points, she's dropped down a gear. She's looked totally focused all the way through the match. Just and that consistency. She's just being interviewed now, and smiles from the coaching team, claps, and a very, very happy Gabby Ruse. And it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. An amazing, amazing match. And it's so great to see. And as I keep saying, it's not one match. It's this season. She's built up towards this. Before that all got exciting towards the end. I was saying about how she's dealt so well with the adversity throughout the year, and how much she's worked really, really hard behind the scenes, the things that none of us see. And she's really, really, because I've always said with Gabby, the level has never ever been in question for me. She's proved from over the years. She's proved that she's a big match player. She's proved that she can play world-class tennis against anyone. She's definitely proved that again this week. But the consistency's never been there the way it has been this year. And what I've seen this week, and again, I didn't see the second match in the main draw because I was travelling back from Eastbourne, but what I've just seen is her within the tournament just developing her belief, and her attitude's got better and better and better. And again, I've got to give her so much credit for, I keep talking about the conditions, but I've never seen from the first ball to the match point, I've never seen Gabby so concentrated before in all of the matches that I've ever watched her play. Focus from the first to the end was immense. And we're just looking at the numbers now for the match, and points won on serve, 73%, 18 winners to 8. Again, net points 7 to 8. That's not really changed in the second set, but it was really effective in the first. Unforced errors 15 to 8, but she's playing a high risk game. Total points won, I mean, she's dominated that second set, 57 to 46. And again, as I said earlier, proved right by the numbers here. Not a single break point for Navarro. That was absolutely phenomenal. It was all down. Gabby was the dictator in that. She was in total control of it. She completely managed everything. And PP and I are just so proud of you, Gabs. So proud. Oh, and again, thanks for everyone for joining. It was I think of all the matches we've done, and Gabs, thanks for doing it so quickly as well, because our Brianna one lasted for 3 hours, and I have added a cushion today, so I was sat on my arse on the floor for the Brianna match for 3 hours. Enjoyed every moment, though, Brianna. We're very proud of you too, but it was quite uncomfortable. But I have added the cushion. I didn't know how long we were going to be here, so a big thank you to Gabby from me and PP for making it so quick as well, so we don't damage our back or anything like that, or hurt our behind. So a big thanks for that. But no, absolutely phenomenal. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, and thanks for everyone for joining. Again, if you would try it, it's dictated by the tournaments, of course. My availability, because I do work full time. People may be surprised to know, but I am on a bit of holiday at the moment. But yeah, it's dictated by that. But we are keen to do lots of these because I think they're good fun. I hope you're enjoying them too. And we want to try and do as many different players as possible. So we've done Miri now, we've done Oana. I think Oana deserves another go actually because that was a bit of a disappointment one and we got the time wrong. So maybe do Oana again. But we've done Brianna and now we've done Gabby. So we welcome any suggestions. If there's a particular player that and whether it be one of the top ones in the top 100 or whether it be one of the younger players, ITF level, do let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you want to see a particular player have a watch party and you want us to do one of your favourite Romanian players, just I think there's a reel from yesterday. Drop a comment on it by all means, or just drop us a DM or something. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. But at the moment we're trying to do as many different players as we can just to mix it up a little bit. So thoroughly enjoyed that, really did, and that was just amazing from Gabby. And yeah, I think it's what we all need. It's what we all need. It was a brilliant performance. I hope everyone watching were able to watch it um, on your own devices. If not, and you haven't been able to watch it, I hope PP and I did the match justice with our commentary, and we gave you a decent account of everything that happened. We tried our best, so I hope you enjoyed that. So if you haven't been able to watch the match and you've been watching this, and we've talked you through it, then thank you. We do our best. But yeah, congratulations to Gabby. We are off to Upton Festival for a few days, so probably be limited content over the next couple of days. But we're still trying to go to Wimbledon. It's not looking likely at the moment, but we'll be back in a few days, and if we can, hopefully get to Wimbledon. May have to queue, who knows? But we'll play Wimbledon by ear. And obviously, very, very soon, we have got Yash coming up. Extremely excited about that. Yes, we're going to be at Yash for the whole tournament. So we look forward to sharing as much of the excitement as possible as we can from Yash. That's coming very soon. We were going to talk a little bit about Yash, but it was such an exciting game that we weren't able to. But again, thanks to everyone for joining. I'm going to let you all go off and celebrate now. Come on, Gabs. Come on, Gabs. Absolutely brilliant. Gabby, you were amazing. Very best of luck in the semi-finals. All you got to do is keep playing with that same concentration and same belief, and you will give yourself a hell of a chance. We're all behind you. We love you. You're playing the best tennis of your life this year, this week, today. That was immense. Well done, Gabs. Congratulations, and see you all again soon. Adios.